So it was not creating cloaks for royalty that pushed Kauai's forest birds to the edge of extinction. No, it was the mosquitoes and the viruses inside them that came with a British ship in 1826. My birds have no immunity to introduced diseases, Crampton said. The Kauai Forest Bird Recovery Project is trying to save 8 different bird species, all hit hard by avian malaria, avian poxvirus, habitat loss, and introduced pigs and rats. Populations of some native birds on Kauai are crashing so fast that their songs are disappearing. There aren't enough older birds to teach the younger birds the melodies. 2 species, the akikiki and akakei, are closest to extinction. The akakei is greenish-yellow with a crisscross bill, which it uses to prod and poke buds of the bright red pom-pom flowers of the ohia tree in search of insects. It only lives in Kokei State Park and the Alakai Wilderness Preserve, where bird camp is located, and there are fewer than 1,000 individuals left. The akikiki are tiny puffballs of white and gray, pink-billed and big-eyed. They eat invertebrates they find by pulling loose bits of bark off trees. There are fewer than 500 alive. These birds only survive high in the mountains, where it is too cold for mosquitoes to reproduce. But as the climate warms, the mosquitoes keep moving higher and higher. Mosquitoes have reached bird camp, but at the moment they are only here during the summer. The very slightly colder winter months are enough to kill them off. The birds get a reprieve, but that might not last for long. We hovered over what looked like an impenetrably thick jungle, and I thought, there's nowhere to land. Until at the last minute I saw a tiny clearing with a very small homemade wooden helicopter pad. We put down, and a second later the helicopter was away. Up this high, it was chilly. The air was filled with a fine mist, blurring the edges of everything. Ohia trees were covered in lichen and moss. We set out along a boardwalk that barely emerged from what seemed to be a bog. Everything was sopping wet. Crampton led me on a hike through the forest. We waded across a river while holding on to a guide rope, then headed upward on a twisty trail. Our goal was to check rat traps. Mosquitoes may not be up this high year-round, yet, but rats are, and they love to eat songbird eggs and chicks. Crampton said the area we were walking through was surrounded by a pig fence, since pigs consume fruiting shrubs that birds like the puaiohi, a secretive thrush, depend on. The forest feels incredibly remote. Although we are, as the crow flies, about 10 miles from the town of Waimea, the terrain is so steep and trackless that the ecologists stationed here see no one else for weeks at a time, and all supplies come in by helicopter. Crampton is researching techniques to kill mosquitoes up here. She runs captive breeding efforts to create backup populations for some species. She's also looking at the possibility that the akakei might have to be moved even higher up on the mountain. And she kills rats. As we hiked, grabbing onto volcanic rocks and vines for support, I asked Crampton how she keeps doing this work, given the not insignificant possibility that the birds she has devoted a decade to will go extinct. Logistics, she answered. Coordinating volunteers, raising funds, following the latest developments in mosquito control, designing experiments, writing papers. She keeps extremely busy. We don't have time to get depressed, she said. We reached the first rat trap. Crampton is using the latest and greatest rat-killing technology, the Good Nature A24, invented in New Zealand. This $200 trap looks unlike any mousetrap you have ever seen. It is essentially a bolt gun, a tiny version of those used in commercial slaughterhouses to kill cattle, inside a baited plastic dome. The gun is powered by a canister of CO2, similar to those in home seltzer machines. The rodent smells the bait. Crampton uses chocolate-covered coconut and pokes its head into the dome, triggering the gun, which instantly kills it. The rodents fall away, and the gun automatically resets itself. One of these traps can kill 24 animals before the CO2 canister is changed. I'd seen these traps in action before.